Good evening. We're going to call the meeting to order. At this time, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we're going to begin with the assignment of the board positions. Do I have a second? All those in favor? Motion carries. And abstention?
Yes.
Okay, 401. So I'm going to pass the torch and we're going to switch seats.
Okay.
All right?
All right. Guys. It's terrifying. Great. Next, we need to nominate a vice chair. Do I have a nominee for vice chair?
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Andrea for vice chair.
I'll second that. All in favor? And one is abstention, right? It'll be fine. We'll just hold this out here. It'll be fine. So yes, the next thing we are going to do is we are going to go through, actually, public comment on agenda items is next on the agenda. So we'll do that, and then we'll go through and reorganize committees. So is there anyone here who would like to make a comment on agenda items? Seeing none, we will tuck that time at the end of the meeting. We'll go through the school board member committees. So first committee is Budget Committee. So if we have a volunteer for that?
Yes.
Yep. So if there are no objections, Molly is going to take budget. Building facilities. Oh, yes, we should do an alternate for BudCom. If nobody has an objection, I'll be the alternate for that, so. Is there any that you can't make it? Okay, building and facilities. Do I have a volunteer? It has been Mrs. Shepherd. I think it continues to be you. And I will say, I do think Sarah has some interest in it, so maybe if you guys can both,
Yeah, I'm going on the list that we created.
I'm using the agenda.
You might want to go with this one because we had to, well, that's fine. Go for it. Go for it. Use the agenda.
Okay. CIP. Molly, are you still good with that? Do you
Yeah,
want to-
absolutely.
Curriculum? Are you doing master planning? Molly, you good continuing with that?
Yes.
NHSBA, I'm good with taking that. Yes, sorry, I should explain what it is. Yes, New Hampshire School Board Association. Policy. 2 volunteers for policy. Okay. You okay with that, Mom?
Yeah.
And how about PTA? 1 volunteer, or we could do 2. Yep, okay, so why don't we alternate, they can both. Okay, rec department, I am happy to keep rec department unless somebody else wants it. C and CESPA negotiations.
We don't need that.
We don't need that for this year.
We won't need
I
it.
think we need to put in.
Why don't we do that just in case something should come up, like
Perfect.
coaches?
That would be great.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm thinking for the coaches, we'll have to do
Yes.
that. That'd be great, Andrea,
Yep.
for C.
Steering, do you want to stick with steering? Do you want to do something else? And also for wellness? Okay. there any on your list?
Professional development,
Professional development, oh, it doesn't, yeah, that wasn't on.
and
Yes, we had, so, just so the public is aware, the list for these committees is, the policy that goes along with it is pretty loose, and it allows us to essentially add whatever we think is important as a committee. And I actually would like to add legislative liaison to that list. Essentially, there are three meetings a year at Winnicott?
yeah, oh, well, at least two anyways.
At least two.
At least two, yeah.
And I have been going to those. I would like to continue, and that position would basically report back on sort of big legislative things that are going on. If anybody else would like to be on that as well.
And just so you know, you are all invited to those meetings. So what will happen is there'll be one that'll come up this spring, and the invitation goes out to everybody on the Hampton School Board. They do provide dinner. It is a great evening with just all of our local representatives that try to come. So everyone's welcome to that. I just said, no, that's it. We're good. We're good. Yep, thank you.
I think we actually can move on to reports. Mr. Robitaille, you ready?
Good evening. Welcome to the new school board members. Look forward to working with you both. A couple things going on at Center School. We were able to purchase a new buddy bench. I think I may have mentioned that once, but it's been delivered now, so we look forward to installing that this spring in the kindergarten and first grade playground, and also educating the students its purpose and how to use it. It's a great addition to the property, so we're very excited and appreciative of the PTA for helping put that together. It's March, so there's a lot of literacy events going on at Center School. Last week we had a special character day and guest reader day, so just again a big shout out to all the folks that came down as guest readers. It's a great event. It's great for the kids to connect with community members and get an opportunity to read a book to them. We have a grades K-2 author visit coming up this Friday, and that's Marty Kelly, so we're looking forward to hosting him. And then we're also kicking off our One School, One Book initiative at the end of the month. The students have also had a special reading challenge where they're trying to read 1,000 books collectively so they could pie myself and Mrs. Hayward in the face. So they've already achieved that goal, and now they're on the next 1,000. So we're proud of our readers. Just a couple things coming up that we want the community to be aware of. We have parent-teacher conferences this coming Thursday, March 20th. It is an early release day. Teachers have sent out their appointment slots, so families, if you feel like you haven't heard from your classroom teacher, feel free to reach out to the school and make sure we get in touch with you. Trimester 2 concludes on Friday, March 21st, so again, just to be aware of that, report cards will be issued in Alma on Monday, March 31st. And then I also just wanted to make the public aware that we have our kindergarten information night coming up on April 15th, so again, just want to get the word out to the community that that is coming up, and certainly an important night for families to get their student in the kindergarten process. And then just wanted to make note to myself and a few of the other leadership team members. One SRO got to attend Alice instructor training over February vacation, so that was a very informative 2-day instructor course. It was pretty intensive. We felt like we gained a lot of important knowledge about how to keep our schools safer, so we're bringing that back to the leadership team and kind of evolving conversation on next steps. So we appreciate the district supporting our attendance of that. So, and with that, be happy to answer any questions of the school board. Okay, have a great night. Thank you.
Mr. Sadler?
Hello, everybody. So just a couple things. I checked a few things off because Mark already went over them. Tomorrow we've got a couple exciting events going on. Earth Dome will be at our school. I would recommend you Google it if you've never heard of it. It's a 19-foot high by 22-foot wide inflatable globe. They talk a lot about geography, environmental issues. It ties in with all 3 grade levels, social studies and science units. So every student will have a 30-minute presentation, 2 classes at a time, where they get to explore the outside with the presenter, and then they actually get to go inside of the dome and learn a little more about some of the Earth systems and features of our planet. So kids will be talking about it. Tomorrow night, we have our sold-out variety show here at Hampton Academy at 6 p.m. We completely sold out. It's one of the first times we've done that, which is awesome. But it'll be a great event showcasing the students. For those of you that can attend, it'll be taped and put out on the local channels, the website, probably Facebook, everywhere else. A couple other things. On Friday, parents and caring adults should look for a flyer. Yearbooks will be on sale. I don't have the exact price off the top of my head, but just keep an eye out if you're interested in purchasing a yearbook for your student. And finally, just more of a community update. We found out from our installer that the pieces of our playground that were damaged early this year should be coming in anytime in the next few weeks, and those will be installed, so we can finally take down the caution tape and have some fresh playground equipment for the students to use and enjoy, and the community to enjoy outside of school. But other than that, it's March, it's busy, it's a great time. Conferences are coming up, report cards, and then we get into April, and we'll talk a little bit about New Hampshire SAS coming up that month and a few other things that'll take place. But otherwise, I'm here for questions if you have any. All right, take care. Thank you.
Dr. Campbell.
Good evening, everyone. We are going to start off with a little video that our new teacher, Mr. Brian Gray, created for our new robotics program. Mr. Gray is new to our school by the way of Sanborn High School. He's a real star in our building so far. He's was nominated for Teacher of the Year and was a finalist for New Hampshire Teacher of the Year, and is currently a finalist for the Presidential Award of Excellence for Math and Science Teachers. We're really excited for all the things that he is doing. If we were to make a video of all the great things that he's doing in his class, we'd be here for another hour. So we're just going to work on our robotics program that he's started off with some money that we got from some grants. And with that, I'll let him take it away. Mr. Gray.
Dr. Campbell's a little taller than I am. All right, thank you, Dr. Campbell, for those kind words. I appreciate it. Really excited to come and talk today about our robotics curriculum. It was something that when I came over, I actually didn't know much about. Did some research on it and really liked the different robotics that we're working with. The thing I really like about it, it reminds me somehow a little bit of the old erector sets where you can like build stuff and put them together, which means they're customizable. We've already started using the new Bamboo 3D printer to start putting like bumpers on them and different kind of ways to accessorize it a little bit. So we've been working with that. But the robotics they can kind of be used for all different purposes. I've used a little bit in each of the grade levels, as you'll kind of see up there, doing something with the CyberPi, which allows you to do motion sensor games where you can move around kind of like a Wii, and you can code a game that works with that, all the way up to having the robot be able to be voice commands and things like that. So this is kind of like the baseline curriculum, and then we're going to build it up from there. But I was kind of learning as I was going, and I'm really happy with the results that we have so far. Starting to work on it with my second semester of 8th graders, and just today they were able to get into the classroom, learn a little bit about the software, and then by the end of the class, they were controlling the robotics, doing their own code with the Bluetooth keyboards that we have in class. So I'll have, in a second, we can roll up the video. They told me to cue them first, so I give them a little cue instead of just saying, here's the video. So if you have any questions afterwards, I'd be happy to answer them. So in the videos just kind of shows some clips and has some interviews from some of the students from 6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
In the robotics class in technology, we did a lot of step-by-steps on how to work the robots. And then we also did step-by-step on how to build the robots.
I thought the robotic unit was very fun, and I learned that you should use like teamwork.
I love the robotics unit, and I learned how to make a robot, and I thought that was really cool. We did a lot of coding from the keyboard, and then switching from the keyboard to the controller. And we we also had to figure out how to add more code onto an original code, how to save codes, how to combine coding together. It was really fun.
In the robotics unit, I think that I got a lot of problem-solving skills, and I really enjoyed it, being able to build things with my friends and make them actually work and see that happen.
My favorite moment, I think, is probably when we were first testing the robots or when we built them. I really liked building the robots and getting in the machines, trying to figure out how to screw it all together, how to plug everything in. So it was pretty fun.
I feel like one of the best parts was just having fun by building the robots and putting like all of it together and being able to code it back.
I feel like my favorite moment was trying to figure out what shapes I can make the robot make just by like moving it and coding.
So for our robotics competition, we had to create a code on our computer and to make these robots actually move and like all the buttons do different things.
We really enjoyed kind of like the competition and the whole process during it, because in the end, we won. So yeah, that was what we kind of enjoyed.
My experience with the robot curriculum at Hampton Academy was very easy, open, and inviting to all.
The robots we used in the tech lab were really fun, so we got to experiment with different kinds of coding and different kinds of robots with sensor games and driving robots around.
And what we did was this coding thing called MakeBlock, and we used these like CyberPi things. And with the CyberPi, you could control robots, make them do dance parties, pick up blocks, and even make video games, like where you have a hammer and you have to attack the monster. But really, it was just a fun, cool thing that we could do in school.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a great question. It's not a Raspberry Pi. It's a Cyber Pi, so it's a little bit smaller. It's like the size of like one of those mini like candy bars, maybe a little bit longer that you get. But the cool part about it is you can connect it by Bluetooth or by wire. And so everything that you code in, because you can do block coding and then you can also do Python coding, which allows them to actually do text-based coding as well. That's going to be the next level up. But it basically puts all that information in there and then you can just plug it right in and it starts working, or it can work independently on its own as its own kind of computer. As you saw the students moving it around and hitting it, like making it, but it does other things too. It sensors 360 and everything. So yeah, it was really cool learning this stuff and playing with it. And every day it was kind of like, hey, what can we do with this? And sometimes the kids came up with stuff on how to use it better than I did sometimes, because I gave them a little bit more of a blank canvas sometimes. Hey, try it out, code it, see what you can do, troubleshoot it. I think that was my favorite part, was seeing the students troubleshoot, like, because the code didn't work perfect, but they could go back and then comb through it, collaboratively work together and find code. When we did the first robotics unit, especially the competition, I don't know how many times the kids went and tried it and it didn't work, and they went back. They actually like turned sometimes to Python and looked on like line 32 and was like, this is missing, and then they fixed it and then went back and it worked. There was one team that troubleshooted the whole time, and I was watching them do it, and with about like 4 minutes left in class, they got the robot to work and they were able to compete because it was like a 3-minute round. And so they were like so excited to see it moving and going. But I think with what we're moving towards as a society, the more you can, fail at something and learn from it and do more, is the better off you'll be success-wise, especially with robots. So that was my favorite part about it.
And if you follow my Facebook posts, you know that our center school and Marsden School use Ozobots for their programming and coding. So it's amazing when you look and see what center school students are doing, right? K1, 2, but then when they get up to middle school, the kinds of coding that they're actually doing, problem solving and all of that. So it's pretty remarkable to see that kind of, that progress, which is fantastic. Yeah.
Anybody else have any questions? No? Thank you very much for coming. That was a
Awesome.
great presentation.
Thank you guys for having us. Appreciate it.
He's very modest, but all the things that he does inside of his class has been amazing. On top of that, he facilitates the Shark News. I say facilitates because it's really student-centered, as you can see in his class. He really lets the kids take control. He's also been really on the forefront of allowing kids to design different logos in his class, which then he's able to then put out to some really nice gear. So I got my Shark News on. And so the kids, the amount of times the kids say, oh my gosh, my design is on a shirt, how cool is that? And they all vote, and it's been really great to see. Follow up with that, Shark News did have a field trip to the Studio Lab, which is a professional studio where they do all types of filming, from professional commercials to film, and that was a really enriching experience for them to be able to see how AI is now playing a role in there. But to move on to some other things at Hampton Academy, our geography wrapped up. Our winner, Ryan June, was our winner. Congratulations to Emma Moraka for our second place and Colton Very for third place. We had Hampton players do yearbook this weekend. It was an excellent performance. It was really great to see them get better and better and better. Congratulations to the Hampton Academy players and Judith Clark for that excellent performance. Another successful sports year, including our unified basketball team. Big shout out to those guys, Bonnie Heath and Miles Panett, for bringing together a really cool event where all of our students from different backgrounds are coming onto the court to really help kids. And it's great to see a gym full of people rooting on students with disabilities. And tomorrow morning, you at 7:45 to 8:15, if you would like to learn more, we have a coffee chat over in the community room with myself and Miss Levine. Just an opportunity for you guys to come and share some ideas or anything like that, and just kind of get a pulse on what we're doing here and how we can make it better. Excuse me. We have our early release day on the 20th. Again, parent-teacher conference. Just want to emphasize, anyone who does want a conference, they are eligible to get a conference. Please reach out to their team teachers, and we will definitely get you into Schedule 1. But on top of that, we have our a blood drive here in the cafeteria going on that day. So please make sure, if you're able to donate, please do so. And also a ancient trade routes market for our sixth graders. It's going to be a fundraiser from 2:30 to 4 over in the gymnasium. Our students are working on different things items that they might be able to sell. So bring a little cash. We're going to give you tickets, and then you can go to each one of the tables where each student has something unique that they can go and sell. On the 25th, music in our schools concert will be over at Winnicott High School. On the 26th, at 5 p.m., the 8th grade oratorical presentations will be going on. Like everyone said, our report cards will be going out on April 13th. We are excited to have April 3rd, we are excited to have the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard in for a STEM day. So it's going to be grade level stations where they're able to really focus on science, technology, and it'll be a really good opportunity. We've done it in the past. It's been great. On the 7th, we have a heart screening. Check our newsletters for an online sign-up. It's about $20 for that. And the Washington, D.C. final payments were due on the 15th, so if you have not made those payments, please do so. On a side note, we're still looking for lacrosse coaches. If you know anyone who would want to get involved, we're going to extend until Friday, but other than that, we're going to have to close that. But besides that, I really having a great time here, as you can tell, just getting kids involved. But with that, I will leave it to questions from the board.
So would you like to tell people what we do have for spring sports?
We have softball, baseball, and track.
Do we have the team that you need for baseball? I know we've been talking about that.
Our numbers went up, yes.
Great to hear that.
Yeah.
Do you have the track coaches that you need? I just want to throw that out there too.
Yes,
if you need that.
We had 2 parents step up, and we're excited to have them on board. So,
will it be limited because of the only 2? I just think that's something that.
Yeah, we are looking at limiting it just because of the sheer numbers. We want to make sure that we provide a safe experience. So right now we have about 65 students, and we're looking to cap it in and around there. So
I guess I would put one more final plea out that if there are parents that want to help with our track team, that will help us to keep the program expanded. Otherwise, we would have to limit it due to the student-adult ratios. Just We want to make sure that we're keeping all kids safe. That was, I know, something brought to our attention last year. So just want to put a plug in. Any parent out there who'd like to help us with spring track, we'd love to have you. We could certainly benefit from one additional coach, would you say?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Thank you, Dr. Campbell.
No problem.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Dr. Da Silva Napton.
Good evening and welcome to our new board members. Nice to see everybody. So let's see, let me just talk about numbers first. We are holding steady at just over 20% of our kids identified in the district. We've been holding that pretty much since the beginning of the year. Referrals are holding steady. Our staffing we're across the board. We're still doing what we're doing. We're stretching ourselves to make it work till the end of this school year. We've got some great hires that we're working on. I know a few of them are coming to the board right now. Hopefully next meeting you'll have some more. And I hope to be fully staffed, in the special ed department by the end of the school year. We did have some great events happen. Dr. Campbell talked about the unified sports. We are one of 2 middle schools who have unified sports in the state, which is really exciting. So the 2 teams played each other, and it was just a great, great time. It was, like he said, the stands were full. There's so many kids were involved, and this is our second year doing that, and it's been grant funded. We grant funded, got the uniforms. We're going to start buying some equipment, and we'll just keep expanding. So that's been really fun. The Hatch Coalition, we are 1 year old this month. So we're just so excited. I can't believe that coalition has it's just grown and flourished so much. We're just so excited. So I remember at this time last year, we were sitting around the table saying, oh my gosh, I'm not a grassroots person. Like I don't like to be sitting around not knowing what we're doing or where we're going or what the heck is happening. So we set some goals and said, well, how are we going to know we're successful at this time next year? And we wrote up a few things, and sure enough, we've accomplished them. We've done a bunch of events, and 2 of them are coming up. One of them is an Advocacy 101 workshop. It's on April 1st. I know Dr. Costa has this in her newsletter, so if you do want to there's a QR code. We're working with New Futures, who's another Hatch member alliance for us, and they're putting on a workshop. And it's just for anyone and everyone to come out and learn how to be a good advocate at the legislative level. It's for parents to be able to advocate for your friends and family. We are serving dinner, and there will be free play club for your kids. And play club is an addition to the Anxious Generation book that we've been reading as a group and a community. We are taking that to the next level here in Hampton, and we are partnering with a college and a university in Massachusetts that's trying to gather data on the importance of free play and how it's working out. So they've given us these massive play kits. They're in a big bin. It has all kinds of stuff in it, like buttons and duct tape and stuff that you just wouldn't, tubes and things just to play with. And basically the point is you give this to the children and you watch them and help them play with these things. So it's called Play Club. You'll be hearing a lot more about it, and we're doing it in some of the classrooms now too. And one more event, Curious George is coming to town on April 12th. This is a pretty big event. It's a partnership with SAU91. It's at Winnicott High School from 1 to 3. Curious George is there. The library's there. We've got all kinds of vendors there. Can get a free pass to the Children's Museum. And again, if you want to sign up for either one of these 2 events, there are QR codes right on the flyers. And there's a bunch of flyers all around town. And the principals have been so good about attaching these things. But I know there's a lot going on right now. March is very busy, and often we think it's a short month, but whew, it's almost done. So that's all I have. Any questions for me?
Dr. DK, what is the age range for the kids at the advocacy workshop for the play?
Oh, I would say anybody and everybody will play with all your kids.
All right, that's
And
great.
if they're older, we'll help them be, peer role models.
Yeah,
Sure.
it was my story time. I was wanting to see if I should put out my story time. So, will do.
It's for anyone and everyone.
Questions? No?
Okay, thank you.
Are all set. Mr. Smith, please join us.
Hello, good evening. For us in the tech department, same thing as always, busy supporting everything that we can. Getting ready for report card rollout, which means making sure everybody can log into the portal, making sure that the report cards are displaying correctly for when they're sent out. Also working with everything related to rostering for upcoming state assessments. Channel 8 is very involved in a number of projects right now. They just helped out with the play, Geography B. They'll be recording the variety show coming up as well. And then other than that, we're trying to look ahead to next year a little bit because we have some concerns around availability of equipment and overall pricing with some of those things. So we're just working with our vendors to make sure we're getting the best pricing that we can. And other than that, that's pretty much where we're at right now. So I open it up to any questions.
I have one, only because I know where you were today. So today, there was a state workshop for anyone who wanted to hear a little bit more about AI. I know that you were so kind to, being sick in January, you did it last month. You did a nice little overview. Is there any, just one or two key takeaways that you might want to share with us? Not to put you on the spot, but we're so fresh on your mind.
Overall, nothing too major. Obviously, it is something that we're going to have to really entertain moving forward because it's not going away, and it's a tool that will really benefit kids as we move forward. We just need to make sure we're making the best decisions for how we're implementing it to make sure we're keeping everybody as safe as possible and that we have all the proper guardrails and policies in place. Because the last thing we want to do is open it up and then try to rein it back in because everybody knows once the cat's out of the bag, it's hard to get it back in.
Right.
So.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for attending that on behalf of our district.
Yeah, of
Appreciate you
course.
and Nick going.
Thank you.
Mr. Harrington?
Excuse me. I gave you all a form from Mr. Harrington regarding water.
Evening all?
Okay.
Yeah, you want to get into that now?
Whatever you
Might as
want.
well. So that letter that went home today from Marston School, Get the Let Out program, I don't know if you've heard of that. We take samples from every single school, every single outlet, every faucet that somebody could potentially drink from. I have not received results back for Senate School or Hampton Academy yet, but Marston's came back. We had 2 outlets out of 91 that had a higher level of lead. One of them was a spray hose for the dish machine, so nobody drinks out of that anymore. We'll probably just leave that one alone. And today we actually had the faucet in the library was changed out today. So we'll test that in a couple days and see how that. And if not, then we'll just put a sign up on that one too that it's not for drinking. But I'm still waiting on results from the other 2 schools. Any questions on that before I go away from that? No? Okay. So my third meeting, and I've been talking about the same stuff, the vestibule at the SAU, we're getting close on that one.
The yellow fence is down.
The yellow fence is down. I got an email today that flooring is hopefully coming on Thursday, between Thursday and Friday, which will be good. We had doors worked on today. I had that done today where we changed out the keys so we can get into that with the SAU key. The railing they did not like, so they're going to replace that probably midweek next week. And there were 2 pieces of glass, shockingly, shipped wrong. So that's coming March 27th, supposed to be delivered and then installed probably the week after that. So then I think the last thing is the sprinkler, and then that'll be it. Hopefully by the end of the month, that'll be done. At least that vestibule will be done. Still waiting on them to come back to Center School to do a walkthrough over there. Still got a couple open issues over there that they need to address. Talk about the HVA system upgrades at Center School. We've had 2 walkthroughs, one with Denver and Hall, who won the bid last year, so they're familiar with the project, and then Palmer and Sickard was in there too. We did extend that date a couple weeks so they could get their proposals together for us. That's pretty much it, I think. Nathan mentioned the playground equipment. I got an email yesterday, I think, that They're hoping to have an answer for me by next week that that's coming. And then, Mark, there's a center school slide that I got an email about that today or yesterday also, that they're going to get me a price and install date on that also. So I think that's it. Any questions? Good. Perfect. Thank you.
Mrs. Board, come and join us.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. So last month, Andrea Shepard asked to write to our senators and our state rep to protect school meals. So letters went out, and we got answers back, and they got us on file that protect school meals and student debt and community eligibility. So we're on file, and they did answer back, and they want to protect school meals also, and we'll see how that goes this year. Next year is going to be a challenge. So that's, oh, you're welcome. So that's.
I know you're working with Emily Fixler, too.
Yes.
On helping our families, which I was really pleased. We are seeing some great movement, and
Yes.
we appreciate the work on that as well.
Thank you. Yes, great.
How's our balance?
We're good. I mean, we're 3,500 today. That's district-wide.
Up a little.
Last month it was 2,700. This is 35. We just have to keep on it. After vacation, we have to keep up, get on the roll, call, email. But Emily Fixer's been great. She's been helping, and we'll get that down for next month. And if you want to break it down, there's 26 students that owe over $50, 92 students that owe $1,665. So we'll get there. I think that's it. Any questions?
Thank
No?
you.
All right, thank you.
Dr. Costa.
Either way, whichever you like. Yeah, we have some donations, and then I can go into my report. How about that?
Perfect.
So beginning on a number of tabs here, on page 9, we have a donation to Marston School, for Center School for $789. I'd like permission to accept this. That will go to, yep.
Second, that is from the PTA.
It is. Thank you. Thank you to the PTA. I see some people there tonight. Appreciate you coming. Also, we have some donations for food service, so let me get to that page as well. Yep. So Women Aid of Hampton made a donation of $950 to Hampton Academy for, I believe it's food service. So, and then we have a second one from Jackie Kennedy for $100. Just a big thank you to these wonderful community groups and people that we really appreciate. So I take a motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Might be. Mariah, is there another one? Okay.
I think that was it.
Okay, great. All right, so just looking over my report, just a couple things to highlight, to bring to your attention. So obviously, a big thank you to our voters for passing our warrant articles and our contracts. We are greatly appreciative of the community support that we received last Tuesday, and we're just grateful that we've had so much support, so that contracts for C and CESPA passed, as well as our budget and our other warrant article for maintenance. So big thank you to the community for the support of our schools, we really do appreciate that. And a big warm welcome on behalf to our new school board members. We appreciate having you on this board. So welcome to Sarah Elliott and to Candace O'Neill. Nice to have you here. So in my report, you'll see that I've been tracking the snow days, and we've only had one this year. So the last day would be Tuesday, June 17th, which should be a half day for our students, and Wednesday, June 18th, would be the last day for school staff, making June 16th. That Monday would be the night of the 8th grade final assembly and also the 5th grade farewell. So that is my recommendation. You can think it over, you can figure out what you want to do. That comes later, but that's in my report. We are hoping that there are no more snow days, but I will remind you that last year we did have that snow day in April. So it's up to you what you want to do with this. You can make it barring any more snow days, and then we can always reconsider it. So. Yep. Okay.
Second. Molly? Any questions, any thoughts on the plan?
Thank you very much. As our principals have reminded us, the last day of the trimester is this Friday, meaning that our report cards will be available on Almer beginning on March 31st. Conferences are this Thursday, and we are always excited to see our families and to meet with them and to talk about our students and their progress. This is the time to do it, as we do have one more trimester left. So we're looking forward to doing that. I know that Dr. Lois de Silva-Napton talked about those two programs that we have coming up, and we are just thrilled to have that. Something that is new this year and was brought to my attention was sudden cardiac arrest screeners for students. This is probably something that might have, when you read it, you may have been a little bit surprised, but I can tell you that this is something that we're seeing more and more in schools, and many of our fellow schools are doing this around the state, and it is just our intentions to give parents this option for getting a baseline screener so that they can track and monitor their children as they grow up. And I'm a big fan of this as a daughter with cardiac issues and was diagnosed when she was at Marsden School. So as somebody who knows the importance of cardiac care, when I heard about it, I jumped right on it. And so we were able to secure April 7th from 8 to 10:30 a.m. And so far we have over 20 students signed up. So I'm thrilled.
This is grade 6 through 8,
It
correct?
is grades 6 through 8, but they do offer it for students that are in 5th grade, because it would be, but parents would have to pick up their children and they would have to bring them over. But it is primarily, I did it at the middle school knowing that most of our children would be 6 through 8, but they do offer it grade 5 and up, just so you know. Great question.
Thank you.
Yep. So I put it in my newsletter with the information. I know there's more information coming out from Hampton Academy, but I just want to make you aware of it. I shared with you some information in the packet that talks a little bit more about it, just another thing that we can offer our families. So really excited about being able to do that. And then you notice that we're obviously continuing our work with the Cook Center as we continue to focus on our social emotional well-being of our students. You have a copy of the calendar for the month of April, and you get a sense of the kinds of offerings we have to our families that parents can participate in, that I know our principals push out. So that goes out monthly, as well as our newsletter. These are also on our website for families to access as well. I just want to, big shout out to obviously Mark Robitaille and Dr. Neil Campbell for attending our ALICE training. Last week, we did meet with our SROs along with people from Hampton Fire and Rescue in our efforts to continue our conversations about safety drills and safety training. So we are talking about looking at implementing for next year a district-wide safety team that will be overseen by our SROs. And so we're really excited about that. in the sense that we can come together and continue to be mindful of the safety of our students and our schools and our staff. Additionally, this summer, our assistant principals will also participate in the 2-day ALICE training, which makes all of our administrators trained with ALICE. So we're happy with that, because we know that preparedness is critically important as we think about the safety of students. So moving forward with all of that and having those conversations, and always appreciate our partnership with, obviously, Chief Reno from Hampton Police Department and Chief McMahon from Hampton Fire and Rescue. They are great partners, and they are just wonderful asset to our community and our schools. This Thursday, there will be a training in Kearsarge around the Cook Center and what they offer and how they are trying to support schools nationwide. So I will be there representing our district as I talk a little bit about our initial work with them. We've only started this in November of this year, but I'm anxious to hear what they have to say, and of course what schools are doing and how we continue to support all of our children, our families, and of course our staff. And then you can see that we are very busy with curriculum initiatives in terms of looking at math. So our math pilots are underway. We're looking forward to seeing how those unfold, potentially doing some visits to some districts that are implementing the program, so we can ask teachers and hear from students directly about their thoughts about these programs that we're piloting. So we're continuing that work. And then, of course, we are sending a team from each of the schools to the New Hampshire ASCD conference at the Grapponi Center, which is the Literacy Summit. Dr. Carol Tolman, who is the co-author and lead trainer of Letters, will be the keynote for that day. So we're excited to be able to send a team from each school as we continue to think about the science of reading, as that will be statewide beginning in 2027. Our teachers are on the forefront of that. They are already doing that work. I see evidence of it in my walkthroughs today. I was at Center School, and I was just fascinated with the word work being done, the writing being done, the practice being done, the systemic approach to ensuring kids get that phonics instruction, which is one of the best practices that's supported by the science of reading. So was glad to see that, and glad that our teachers will have that opportunity to participate in the Literacy Summit. And then, of course, we will be having an extended year program that will run in the month of July this year. We're gearing up for that. And Kim Olson is returning to she will be in charge of Camp Invention this summer. So was delighted that Kim is going to do that, and that will take place June 23rd to the 27th. So I know that that's always popular. It does sell out. There is a waiting list. So parents, if you're interested in Camp Invention this summer, please make sure that you sign up for that, because there's typically a waiting list, and it is a regional summer camp. So we're excited to be able to host that. And you heard Nathan Sadler talk a little bit about New Hampshire SAS testing that will be during the months of April and May, pretty much. And I think that's enough. Is there anything on my report that you have questions about?
Happy to see the planning's underway for the NEC program.
Yes. Yep. I completely agree. Yep.
It's going to make great continuity going from center all the way up.
Yep. I'm really excited that we can do that. It really is some of the program that we're doing in our district is really a model for the state. And I would say that, quite honestly, Dr. Lois De Silva Napton has really taken the lead on this. It's been my hope and dream that we can keep kids in our home district, and being able to do that at all 3 schools next year is just, it's a big win for our district and our kids. So really proud of that, and that is the legacy that we have, that children have, that you'll be leaving behind us. So we're really thrilled about that. Yeah.
Have any questions on Dr. Costa's report? We didn't actually, we looked at it last month and we realized later we didn't actually vote.
Yeah, so that's the calendar for next year. That's in your board packet. That basically is on page 45 and worked, of course, with SAU91, who does work with Seacoast Collaborative because we all have to be in somewhat alignment. So this was the calendar that we did come up with, considering what the State Department of Ed had recommended in terms of our vacation weeks. We try to be consistent with that as well. So it allows us to have some good early release time, professional development, but also it keeps us, you know, on par with really our schools when it kind of where our high school students will go. So
Continuing to kind of move our half days and development days to Fridays, which I think is.
Yep, I think parents
been
have
very
asked.
popular,
Yeah,
yeah.
parents have asked for that, so we're happy to be able to do that as well. Yeah, correct.
So we do actually need to vote on this, so if I could get a motion to approve the calendar. All right, do I have a second? All in favor? Okay, so we finally have a calendar for 25, 26.
Thank you.
We can expect to see, I'm guessing there is probably already a draft of this.
Yeah, there
on
is.
the website,
Yeah.
but we'll make sure that we have a final draft up so people can make plans for next year.
Yep. One other thing, just so on page 5, I just want to bring to your attention is policy BCA.
Yes. All of the school board members, every year we do take a look at the board member ethics report, which is BCA. It is a full 2-page or page and a half. I am not going to read all of it, but essentially the idea is that it outlines ethics expectations for school board members. So if you guys can take a look at that, and before you leave tonight, the second piece of paper has a spot for you to sign. You just pass those over to me, and we will file them at the SAU90 office.
Thank you.
So that was the last of our current new business, and I believe that Candace had something she wanted to bring up to potentially add to the agenda.
Yes, I would love to make a motion for us to discuss whether perhaps as a board, we could consider submitting a letter of written testimony on HB 115, which is the bill up in Concord that would remove the income cap on the voucher program.
We have a motion. Do I have a second for discussion? Okay. So why don't you kind of give us an idea of what you're looking for?
Sure. So HB 115, for those who haven't been following, up in Concord, this is a bill that would essentially phase out the income cap on the voucher program in New Hampshire. So in the first year, it would raise the income cap to 400%, and then after that, it would eliminate it, which would result in a significant cost to the state and our school district. So what I was hoping that we could do is, as sort of a united front as a school board, this is not a position on whether school choice is a good thing, whether vouchers are a good thing, simply our position on what this would do to us as a school district from a financial perspective.
Mariah, do you want to weigh in on this as our BA? I didn't know. I just think you are our money and cents. So I know your ASBO group does talk about this. So I thought.
Yes, it would affect us. If this does go through, it will affect us. The talk is, if the vouchers do go through, that the school districts then would be paying for the vouchers rather than the state paying for the vouchers, which would definitely take away from our funds. It's really in the works. There's no which way it's going to be, but it does. They can't support both.
Also, just add quickly, and I can pass this out for the board as well, just where the bill is currently, because it was amended. So it did pass the House just last week, and right now it was sent to a second committee, the Finance Committee, because it does have a fiscal note. And so right now, it's in a work session, and then at some point, there will be a public hearing where we can submit testimony. According to the bill, they're estimating a cost of $4,419 per student. So obviously, we don't know how many students would exit our school district if this became available to everybody, but I think it kind of goes without saying that this could have a significant impact on us. I have not prepared the letter yet.
sorry.
No, that's okay. I'm happy to put together a draft. I'd love to work with Mariah on that if I could for some more concrete numbers. What I have is a copy of the actual bill itself.
So what are our thoughts on sending this, essentially the request is to send this as something official from the school board, rather than going as individuals and testifying, which is not something we have done a lot, right? Would that be fair to say?
I don't think we've done it.
It's bad, just this would be a little bit of a departure for us, but I'm curious, sort of, everybody's thoughts on this. So,
Just to kind of capture at a high level the plan. Here's the bill, here's what it would do. Here's what it would do to us. This would be the financial implications were this to pass. And then tacking a recommendation, please consider keeping the income cap intact. Please consider voting against this. Like, what is the call to action that we're requesting out of it? Because I think we can all agree, you know, just saying this is what this will do ostensibly to us is great, but then what are we encouraging them to do instead?
So this would be written testimony submitted in opposition. So we're asking them to vote against it. We don't have to give our personal opinions again, and I certainly wouldn't impose that on anyone. And of course, all of us in our individual capacity are welcome to submit personal, written, or public testimony. But simply as a board, I think it carries more weight if it comes from our school district, and we, let our representatives up in Concord know what this could do to our school system. I will say that the vote was fairly close this last time through the House, so we might be able to make an impact.
Very close. Is there a world where we do this and encourage through outreach to other school boards for them to participate as well, so we can be an even bigger united front?
I would love that world, yes.
I mean, there are organizations that are already working on this. There's the New Hampshire School Funding
Fair funding,
Fairness
yeah.
Fair funding project,
Yes.
yep.
And I know they are already working on that. I know I personally signed on to a letter that they sent, not representing the board, but as an individual. So that might be a way to get into discussions with other boards. I'm sure they would be happy to have it officially, not just personal.
Know that if you do research this and you want to vote against this, you really should. Single voices make a difference, and the more that we get a voice and more go out there, it will change. We've seen that with arts and science and music. And sometimes people don't get in the nooks and cranny of financial because it gets confusing, it gets difficult, and they think that we're just going to be able to survive. And this will affect us for sure. So it's definitely something that everybody should read and get an opinion on and go be a part of it, because when the town and everybody has been so supportive of the school district and the town and keeping our town intact, but they also, for months prior to voting, really focused on taxes and how much it's affecting their pocket. And if you want to do something about that, it's at state level, and this is one of the items that you could really look into and talk about.
And we're not going to have less students, right? So if our state funding is cut, if our federal funding is cut, the money is going to have to be made up somewhere. And it will be either cutting services or raising taxes or a combination of the two. No one wants to do any of those things.
Yeah, this was a federal conversation. As you know, I went out to the superintendent's conference for the first time, and it was a federal conversation. They are very concerned about New Hampshire because of what's going on. The concern is that you can't afford, as Mariah said, both systems. And so they said this is something that does demand our attention. It just, if we are concerned for all of those reasons you've said, this is the time that we need to be coming together and to making our voices heard. So I know that Becky Wilson and I know Barrett Christina at the New Hampshire School Boards Association, along with many of the superintendents, are trying to do what they can, you know, in their roles. But they said they're more than welcome to help guide us too, so that we can have clarity. Because the other thing is that sometimes these bills can change, and so they said that they're happy to guide us in any way that we might need it to. So, just to let you know that as well. So they're, you know, I think we just all have the same concerns. As somebody who lives in Hampton myself, I know when people are concerned about their taxes, I understand that. We all understand that. And so how do we preserve, you know, our schools and take care of our kids and ensure that we're providing the quality of education that we know our children deserve? Last year, in fact, I just had, I had the tech department run some numbers for me because I was looking at who, you know, how many people were exiting the schools, right? And during COVID, we did have, we had more students that left, right? And I think it was because of different reasons, right? It could have been people who were homeschooling or whatever they were choosing to do, or full-day programs, or whatever it was. There are only 6 children that left last year, and its averages around 11 at most. And that's been in the last, you know, 5 years.
And these are basically, we're talking about kids who didn't move out of the district, but maybe clearly transitioned to homeschooling or transitioned to a private school.
Correct. So 6 this past year. So, I mean, you see that people are making the choice to stay here. We want them here. We're trying to build programs to keep kids here. We believe we offer a great program. We work hard to offer a great program. So I want to preserve that great program for our kids.
Does anybody else have any comments, thoughts on, do you think this is a good idea? Don't think this is a good idea? I personally am going to support it. I think it's important. I'm very happy that Candace is kind of willing to take this on. I would say if we were to approve this, maybe after you get a draft of the letter, you could email it out to the board members and we could provide feedback on it. Dr. Costa, we do actually have to vote. Yes, go ahead.
Just procedurally.
Of course.
So bills are going to move, especially with crossover coming. You know, my aim would be to get a draft to everyone in a day or two. It's possible this could go to a hearing next week. So how do we vote on that to approve the letter?
I think essentially we are going to vote to designate you to present this opinion that I think we've discussed fairly in depth in the meeting. And if you don't hear back from someone, I think it's fine to move ahead. I think the rest of us will try to take a look at it, keep an eye on our email, get back to you as soon as possible. But if we don't, I think it's fair to
and we
move
know
ahead with
it's
that.
Yeah, and we know it's timely, so we're going to try to turn things around pretty quickly. So
Let's vote for those who vote aye to approve this. That passes unanimously, and I think we all appreciate you taking this on. This is great. There is a lot going on, and we are all doing our best to stay on top of it. I mean, a simple thing, and we don't want to get deep into it. Last we discussed, at this moment in time, we have not received any notifications of any cancellation or cuts in federal grants.
No, and the department was pretty adamant about, yesterday we had our call at 1 o'clock, and they were all said that they do not anticipate any cuts.
And this was the state.
And this was the state, and they all said the same thing. Now, I don't, and so I'm going with it. They don't foresee any cuts to federal funds. They believe that we will get the allocation that we would typically get. But if I hear anything, you will all be the first to know. All right.
Okay. Mrs. Curtis?
Okay, so again, I'm gonna piggyback kind of on Lois and say thank you so much for the support for our teachers and our paras and our support staff and administrators here at the Hampton School District is much appreciated. Our budget passed. The vote was 2,237 to 1,088. So thank you so very much. I do have today the MS-22 that will need to be signed so that I can send that to the state. Also, the teacher contract passed. That was 2,300 to 1,079. Thank you so much for supporting our teachers. I did update the teacher agreement already, so I have that here for you to look at. That also needs to be signed by the board, and then once that's done, I can post that on our website. The CESPA contract passed, and that was 2,292 to 1,016. I have not started working on that update. That's my goal for the end of the week. Once that gets done, I will have the only person that needs to sign that would be chair for the board. So once I get that, I will visit you. And you can sign, and then the CESPA union signs, and I can get that up on the website. I'm trying to get both done because teacher contracts I have to have out before April vacation. And then I work on para contracts after I get back from vacation. The maintenance warrant was passed. That was passed by 2,376 to 970. That was 300,000 for maintenance for our facilities. Sacred Heart unfortunately did not pass. And then the zero budgeting passed, which is what we already do, so it's kind of a moot point. But if anybody has questions about how we work on our budget, please feel free to see me. We start that pretty much in July and August already, so it's as soon as this one's completed, we start all over again. So if anybody's interested in kind of understanding that process more, feel free to contact me. Lois and I usually sit down with quite a handful of people that want to look at the budget while we're building it anyway, and I make huge binders for the budget committee, so feel free to come have a chat about numbers. I don't mind. Just give me a heads up and bring me a coffee. And then I have the report for where we're at for the end of February. Most of our stuff is encumbered, so special ed is definitely encumbered, but we have some ins and outs that always happen. We're just trying to work on cleaning up our expenditures. Food service is up to date. You'll see we have a little bit of a negative amount, but we're not sure where that is because revenues could sometimes take 2 months to get in, so that varies on that. It's the state revenue that comes in slowly because we have to report to them every month, free and reduced. So that could offset that a little bit, but once we get closer to the end of the year, we'll see where we're at. I think we're gonna be really close this year. I think it's gonna be one of our best years. And then I did give you this month Title II grant summaries. So next month I'll pick something different, but I just want to keep you updated. Every month I'll switch out what we've done for grants so you can see what we apply for. I have everything posted on the website to date. So the annual report's posted, and once I get the MS-22 and everything else signed, that will be posted. But anything past, you feel free to go on our website and check that out. Last but not least, in our past meeting, we had talked about our property at the Tool Farm Road. It's the pond. We own 32.8 acres there. We now have a year before we vote to discuss this. We might want to get committees involved. We might want to make a decision first within the board on which way we want to go, or start a committee, decide which way we want to go. But we had started talking about that property. The school owns the property. We have to maintain the property. We don't put funds in our budget to maintain the property. We just maintain the property and hope for the best. There are a couple things we can do with the property. It was donated to us because we were going to, at one time, build the Hampton Academy on that property. When we went to do that, it would have cost twice as much money to build a new building than to renovate, and it was just too far away from the other schools that the committee decided to renovate rather than build new. So now we have this property that we have to maintain, and it's got a dam, and we have to maintain the dam. And so there were two options that we could really do. One is, well, there's three. We do nothing. We keep it, we maintain it, we hope for the best, that it stays okay. We could donate it to the Hampton Conservation Commission, and if we donate that land, we can attach a deed that gives specific instructions on how the land should be managed and preserved. And then that takes all of the duties and cost and maintenance away from us. So pros is long-term preservation. It kind of gives you a personal legacy. It's community impact. It's got a conservation easements, and there's no maintenance responsibility. So there's some pros to that. Some cons, you could lose the loss of control and potential mismanagement. That's about it. The other thing that we could do is sell the property to fund repairs and improvements for the schools. So what you would do is, and all of this would have to be communicated to the town multiple times, have conversations. It goes on a warrant article, town votes. Any way you do this, except for keeping it. So the sale of the property, the pros are financial relief, better allocation of the resources, enhancing long-term planning and economic development. The cons is the loss of future value. It could be a negative impact to the community, and it's a one-time solution. So if you were to sell it, you would have somebody come in, value it, get estimates, da-da-da-da. It goes on a warrant article saying that you would like to sell the property. This is how much they think you can get for it. Is it okay? They vote yes or no. Underneath that warrant article would be another warrant article that states if this property sells, the funds go into a maintenance fund or bond to do updates and maintenances of the buildings for the school district. And I think that I'm bringing this up because there are two great ways to handle this property. It's two great ways, and they're very different ways, but they're great ways. One, we still have the property. Well, we don't have the property, but the town still has it. It's got walking trails. It's beautiful, blah, blah, blah. The other is it could bring income to the town, but it will bring income to the schools. Marston and Center School need new roofs. They need new floors, they need new windows, and they need new electrical. And we've been slowly doing lights, and we've been slowly doing maintenance. And we get $300,000 a year in maintenance, and that doesn't even cover 5 windows. So it's one way to make our buildings where they should be. They're falling, these two buildings really need a lot of work. It's just a quick way to maintain it without asking for funds and being able to do it in a year or two rather than 15 years. So those are the two, this is to start a conversation, to maybe come up with a way to communicate, to come up with a committee, and to decide if it's something that we want to do. If not, we do nothing with it, but do know that it has a dam, it has property, it has trees, it's got maintenance, and it's going to get costly.
If the first warrant article were to pass, if we went the route of selling it.
Yep.
But the second one would fail, if it were to fail.
Yep.
Would that void the first warrant article?
We could put yes, thank you, in that where it does do that,
Okay.
yes.
Is there risk because of the nature of the land with a dam and water that it won't be attractive to purchase? I would imagine there's pretty significant building restrictions.
And forgive me if this has long been discussed, being the new person here.
No, it's not. It's just a
Okay.
started conversation that we decided to start at the beginning of the new, because that'll give us a whole year before we hit warrant articles. Yep.
Yes.
And then you have multiple, like, now you have the time to plan.
I also don't really have a great understanding of exactly where the land is, but is there any feasibility of some sort of licensing or rental, something to generate ongoing income for the schools as opposed to your point, that one-time benefit?
Not unless we build on it. There's nothing, it's wooded, it's got the pond, and there's trails. That's pretty much it.
Do you know where, let me try to
Go ahead,
explain,
go
I was
for it.
going to explain
Yeah.
where it was.
Yeah.
Was that what you were going to do?
Yes, go ahead.
All right, so do you know where Exeter Road is and Toll Farm Road is? So you take that turn, right, like you're going to go to Merrill Industrial Farms, it's right there on the right. So
That
as soon
little
as you
pond
turn
right
it, it's
there.
like a
Where they do like the
pond,
fishing
right?
derby and.
Yeah.
Yes, and then it's all that land, there's
Yeah.
a trail back there.
How many acres, Mariah?
32 point, what did I say?
A lot of-
32.8.
a lot.
And in fact,
32.8.
there was a hockey net apparently in the middle of the pond this week.
Yeah.
From the economic development point, would we be able to consult with like the town planner and the planning board and the conservation commission before we kind of like,
Make
to
a
get a better
decision.
idea of what the economic impact would be?
Yes, that's why I'm like, I think we should start a committee and to go and have these conversations before we make a decision. But we've just been holding it, and I think that if we're gonna do something, we should probably do something with it.
So you could make an other committee, or you could have Molly and Sarah. Sarah's on building and facilities, and Molly's on CIP, either way. And they could we could start this investigative process.
And maybe start with talking to
Yeah,
the
I
master
could
planning.
submit
and-
it to Jason for the
Yeah.
next
Yep.
MPIC meeting.
Yeah, and kind of see, I think it's a good idea to ask them what our next steps should be. I think that would be great.
Absolutely.
I don't know that we need to do anything official to have
No,
that, to start
it's
the
just-
conversations, and then if they come back with, when they come back with recommendations, you guys can bring them to us, and we'll.
MPIC, the master plan implementation.
Yeah.
Which is just advisory, but Jason's a part of those meetings.
Yeah, which is great.
Great, all right. Next on the agenda is hiring and renominations. I know some of that we are going to discuss in non-public, but some we can
Yes,
go forward now,
yes.
correct?
Yes.
Do we want to start with the student services?
We can, yep, we
It's just,
can.
it's on the top of my pile.
Yep, you can. I believe, do you have a copy of that?
Yep, I think
In
you
your
guys should
packets?
have, so if you take a look, you should have a candidate employment profile and then a CV to go with it. And so this would be to replace Dr. De Silva Napton, who
Yes.
is retiring.
Correct. Correct. So, Yeah, I can, and of course, you were there too for the second
Yes,
interview.
yes.
So, so as you said, Wendy, Lois did give us her notice to retire at the end of the year. She is going to be going back to Connecticut, and we're delighted for her, but we're obviously, right, that's creates a hole in our team. So with that said, we did do a search. We tried to do it early because we know that some of these positions are very difficult to fill. As we know, we were unable to fill 3 positions this year related to, actually 4 related to special ed. So with that being said, we advertised, and, you know, we interviewed, we did a first interview, second interview. We discussed this with the leadership team. We put a committee together, and the candidate that you have in front of you, she was the top candidate. And so it is technically my hire, but I always like to have the blessing of the board. So I'm bringing it to your attention, and just to let you know that this is the person that we would like to hire. So.
I don't think we actually need to vote on this, but does anyone have any questions
Yeah,
about this?
just want to keep you all in the loop. Just think it's important.
That's great. And yes, I can say, sure, I was in on the second interview, and she was a great candidate, very personable, very qualified, close. She's coming to us from Northampton, which is great. So she's familiar with the community. So I think she'll be a great addition.
Yeah. So just to bring that to your attention. And then you also have a candidate who we are excited because we've been without an 8th grade case manager. So you have Nicole Ciccarelli's paperwork in front of you, and I am seeking your nomination tonight so that we can get her on board. I had the opportunity to meet her. I know that she, believe it or not, was a para in our district.
Yeah, that's great.
I know. Well, truth be told, we tried to hire her last year, but they would not let her out of her contract.
Oh, gotcha.
So it was one of those situations that they would not. So when she saw it open, she was excited. She's still connected to some of the people still at Hampton Academy, and she would just love to come back. So I met her. She's lovely, and would like to bring her on board.
Ernie, would you like to? Do I have a second? All in favor? Approved?
Thank you, and I think that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get out, we're trying to hire early so that we can try to secure these positions. We'll try to bring them to you as soon as we can. And then the other thing you have is you have a letter of retirement, and it's up to you how you want to.
A very sad letter of
Actually, somebody who made this decision with her family recently, and you can read it. And, you know, we all recognize that the timing of this is a little later than we expected it to be, but under the circumstances, we are bringing it to your consideration. Thank you.
with her. I think, do we need to add that it would be with the full benefits?
Yep.
On her?
You-
Or
you-
if we are. And with regret. Yes. And with much regret, yes.
Thank you.
We should actually say who this is for.
Yep, this would be for Mary Wilson, who's
Yes.
given us her letter of retirement. She reached out to me last week, and I told her, I said, let's see what we can do. You're a little late, but the circumstances being what they are, we would like to do that, not to set a precedent, but to honor this in light of the circumstances. And so I was actually at Center School today, and she said she was going to move forward with it after speaking with her principal, Mariah, and myself, and we said we would go and we would advocate for her.
Absolutely. I'll second that. All in favor? For our new members, so we do typically, we do ask that people submit their particularly their retirements by November.
It's actually in the collective bargaining agreement.
Yes.
So they have to, they're supposed to. So that's why I said this is to not set a precedent, but it is an exception, and we will honor it given the circumstances.
Right.
So. Thank you.
We have nominations. Do we want to discuss renominations in public first. What would you like? You tell me what
Do
you would
wanna
like to do.
Do you want to offer up, if anybody has comments, since we're still here, so they don't have to wait if
Yes,
people have that?
absolutely.
That's just
So,
my,
Yes, that would be, well, why don't we also have policy.
Yep.
Still to
So do you wanna
discuss,
go
we
to-
should do that before
Yep.
comment. So what I have in my hand are renominations. We are actually just going to set those aside for just a minute. We're going to skip ahead to policy review. We do have some things kind of going on with policy review. So basically, the way policy review works, just for our new members, typically, you will see policies twice, 3 times, because some of you guys are on the policy committee. It'll be discussed in the committee. It's brought in for what we call a first read for these meetings. You can ask questions if you have them, but typically for the first read, there usually isn't a whole lot of conversation. The expectation is that you will take them home, read them, come back at the next meeting on the second read. If you have any questions, let us know. We can discuss them. We do get our policies from the basis of them from the New Hampshire School Boards Association. They do write those based on all of the current RSAs in the state, and as well as, and we're going to discuss this in a little bit, things that come up related to court cases around the country, which does cause them to change. So what we have this month is we do have, can we do second reads with new?
it's a great question. I think we can.
Okay.
The only exception I'm going to ask is that we not approve JJIC because Dr. Campbell and Mrs. Levine have added some additional information they would like to add to it that I hand carried, and they want to add that on page 3.
Okay.
So it is really about criteria as it relates to academic requirements with regard to interscholastic athletics. So
Want to push this to next month?
I
for
think
second read?
I think I would like to
Okay.
do that so that you can take a look at it. We can reformat it for
You
you.
guys should all have this, so just take a look at this.
So that'll be it. Let's hold off on, we can hold off on that one, but the rest we're fine to move forward if people feel comfortable.
Say, do I have a motion to approve? Sorry, glasses. EBCH, JJIB, JLF, JLF-F, JLP, KFA. That's it, for right this second. I just will need to do the other ones separately. So do I have a motion to approve all of those as second reads? Okay,
I'll second.
okay. All in favor? Okay, so we will table JJIC until next month. The second thing that we have, all the school board members should have received an email with Title IX revisions. So what we are going to ask is that on an emergency basis, as suggested by the NHSBA, we are going to, let's see, it is, sorry. Policy BGB, which is policy adoption, does give us the option to, it says, on matters of unusual urgency, the board may waive the 2-week limitation and take immediate action to adopt new or revise existing policies. When such immediate action is necessary, the superintendent shall inform concerned groups or individuals about the reasons for this necessity. I believe the reason was the court case, the court ruling in early February, correct? Yeah. So does anybody have any questions? We did make a couple of kind of formatting and just position changes. I think it called for pupil services to be in charge of something, and of course, I've already forgotten. Title. Special Pupil Services Director. So we did just tie some of that up. Does anybody have any questions about those or any objections to approving them on an emergency basis? I have a motion to approve the Title IX changes. All in favor?
Thank you.
And we may see more of those coming. Just so everyone knows, this is the second time we have had to approve these changes to these exact policies on an emergency basis. We are doing our best to keep up with the world as it is.
Fair statement.
Okay, so the tabled public comment on agenda items. Is there anyone here who would like to speak? Seeing none, do I have a, do you want renominations or do you want non-public? Yes, of course, absolutely. Come on in. You gotta move quick when I ask. I'm sorry. It's okay.
I know, right?
Hi, everyone. I'm Erica York. I really enjoyed hearing the updates from the school principals. One thing that they forgot to mention, and I'm just going to put it out there to the public.
The Harlem Wizards?
Yes, they are
I'm sorry,
all playing.
That was my fault. I skipped that part of the list because when we change seats, it freaks me out.
That's okay. I was
Yes.
going to wait. I
Yes,
wasn't leaving
thank
until I
you.
got to say it.
Thank you
So
for doing
all three principals are participating in the Harlem Wizards. We have record number of volunteers. And also, I'm saying this now, so it's out to the public. This is mine and Sarah's last event for the PTA. So the PTA is still looking for event coordinators. And I'm saying that publicly because I know there was a large disappointment about Halloween. So if people are interested, I know the PTA would really appreciate any type of volunteer, whether it be committee, one event, two event. This is the only event Sarah and I have committed to doing this year, and it's our last event with them. So Harlem Wizards, April 7th, it's gonna be great. And last year we were completely sold out. We can fit 900 people in the gym, and I'm serious, we were like at 1,100. So the tickets are selling, games at 6:30, and that's it. Oh, yes, and there is a Seacoast Storm for the Cooperstown Community Oven fundraiser at 5 to 9 at the Community Oven before and after the game. Candace.
When is the last day you can buy tickets, and how are ticket sales? Or should people hurry up and buy their tickets?
People should definitely hurry up and buy their tickets. We're probably about 200 tickets out of 900. You do get a discount for purchasing in advance, and then the tickets do go up at the door.
And how do you buy the tickets? Is there a QR code in
There is a QR code. Lois has sent it out in her superintendent's newsletter, so everybody can click on that. But we have distributed posters around the schools as well as some local businesses in town. The Harlem Wizards went ahead and created a Facebook group for us as well. That links the tickets right there. And I think Lois plans to send out the flyer again as well as the schools. So. Yeah. And the kids are going to have a assembly from the Harlem Wizards on the day of the event. So they're going to come home really excited and begging you to take them. That's how I originally found about it when my kid was in kindergarten and had no idea what it was. And it's super fun. And they only come every 2 years. Yeah. So this will be your last chance to see them until I almost said 2025, but we are 2025. So yeah, 2 years from now. So anyway, April 7th, be there. Okay, thank you.
Big thank you to you, Erica, and obviously to Sarah for the work on the PTA. Yeah, and thanks for that April 7th reminder. We did get it out again, so thank you, thank you.
All right. Do we have anyone else? Okay. All right, I am going to move that we move to non-public under RSA 91-A:3 2A. Roll call vote required. Start on this side this week. Yes. You just have to say yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay, and we are in non-public. Sorry. I know, Erica said she couldn't hear me. They told me not to put it too close, but apparently it needs to be closer. Okay, so we are going to vote on renominations. We have a list from Center, a list from Marston, and a list from Hampton Academy. I think we can just vote on these as is. I think we can do all three at one time, honestly.
I'll make a motion to put forward all the names on the list from Center, Marston, and Hampton Academy for renominations for those teachers.
Awesome. See? Thank you. Okay, all in favor? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, and then we have the list of reappointments for administration. Do we need to vote on? Okay, okay. So we have a list. There are
no changes. This is, the list of names is as is. We did have a discussion. We are going to sort of rearrange how long some of the contracts are, strictly to line them up so that all of our administrators are on sort of the same cycle. So I think we are all set. If I have a nomination to approve this. Awesome. Okay. Okay. All in favor? All right. Last but not least, we have meeting minutes from the February 11th school board meeting. Do I have any comments or any changes? So you guys would, our new new members would just abstain on those.
Second. Okay. All in favor? All against? All abstain? Okay. All right, and we have, making sure I'm not missing anything. And then we have minutes from the non-public session, also February 11th. All in favor? All opposed? All abstain? All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Just one thing before, just want to let you know that, sorry, there is one thing. I did get I know people have gone, but I know that people will watch this because they're going to watch it on their cable. I got a letter from HCC, and Patty McKenzie is, believe it or not, celebrating her 30 years as the director of HCC. So just so you know, I am sending a letter of congratulations on behalf of the district, because Patty is just incredible as a community member, as a person, and is just somebody who does so much for our town. So just wanted to give a congratulations and shout out to Patty McKenzie on 30 years as HCC at the executive director. So she's a partner, a friend, a colleague, and I'm just delighted that we could recognize her as a school board and as a district. So just want to let you know that.
That's awesome.
Yay, Patty.
Yay, Patty. That's
it.
right.
Yeah.
We love Patty. She's awesome.
Yeah. That's it.
All right. Now do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All right. Yeah. All in favor? All right. Wait. So I only get to use it twice a day.